you'll hear some noise and some children out on the playground. You'll hear some airplanes. But Allah is sufficient, and you will get this message whether or not the enemy wants you to hear it or not, if it be the will of Allah. Now, I want you all to understand that being a virtuous woman and living a modest life is not easy. It's not all fun and games, not in this society. Why is it not all fun and games and not in this society? Because the first thing you do when you turn on the television, what do you see? Naked women. What do you see when you turn on the television? You see women half dressed, half naked, 2/3 naked. You see men degrading women at alarming rates. You see men being doggish and freakish. Hell, you don't have to turn on the TV. You can walk to your corner store and I bet you it's somebody on the block displaying the characteristics that I just explained of our men and our women. Modesty. What does it mean to be modest? Do you know? If not, I'm going to tell you. Modesty. The quality of not being too proud or confident about yourself or your abilities. The quality of behaving in, especially dressing in ways that do not attract sexual attention. Freedom from conceit or vanity. Propriety in dress, speech, or conduct. Now, what the hell does all that mean that I just read? Modesty. The quality of not being too proud or confident about yourself or your abilities. Now, I brought up the situation that I just encountered on the bus stop because the brother said, "Ma'am, I wasn't going to say anything to anyone on my way to the homeless shelter, but because the way you are dressed, I figured you might be a spiritual person, and I wanted to know, is God the answer?" Now, mind you, I'm going through my own personal battle. I'm living my own life. I'm minding my own business. I'm not looking up or anything, and here comes this brother who looks like he may be going through whatever it is he may be going through, comes and tells me, stops me on the bus stop and said, "I wasn't going to say anything to you, but because you are dressed in such a beautiful manner, you seem to be a spiritual person, like you might have a connection with God. So I wanted to ask you, is God the answer?" So I said, "Brother, now normally I don't talk to brothers. This is my husband's duty. But Allah had weighed it on my heart to explain to that brother, it depends on the way you see your God, your creator of the heavens and the universe." And I let him know, I said, "Brother, I normally don't talk to brothers. And if my husband was here, I wouldn't do any talking. But because Allah stopped you and made you stop and talk to me, I have to say what's on my mind." And he said, "Sister, I just want to get something to eat." He said, "But I don't want to ask you for any money." He said, "Can I sing for you or something?" And he said, "Even if you don't have anything but some change, I don't want you to give me something for nothing. I don't want to feel like I'm begging you." And I said, "My dear brother," I said, "you don't have to sing for me, because if you are hungry and you need a meal, I will do that. Because I love for my brothers and sisters what I want for myself. There's no problem in me giving you $1. And then I went into my wallet, and then I noticed I had not one single dollar bill. All I had was a $5, a $10, and a $20 bill. And as the brother was standing there, he said, "Please, can I sing to you?" He said, "Because I don't want you to give me anything without me feeling like I have done something." And I know the feeling because that's me. That's how I am. I don't want to beg anyone for anything. I don't want to have to ask, can you give me? Can you give me? It's no, what can I do for me to earn it myself? That's just me. So the brother, he persisted to sing, and he had a very beautiful voice. And I told him, I said, brother, you can stop singing. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. And I say, I don't have $1. But because you say you're trying to get you something to eat, I'm going to make this sacrifice, and I'm going to give you these $5 to get you something to eat. Because if it was me, and if I were in your situation, I would want somebody to look out for me. Because I'm not too proud to say that I've been homeless. I'm not too proud to say that I've stayed in a homeless shelter. I'm not too proud to say that the woman that you see sitting here was not always me. Almost 7 years ago, I was in a bad situation myself. And you may say 7 years ago, well, you ain't that old. Well, yeah, when I was a teenager, I've been through it all. I've been through hell and high water. That's why I thank Allah for Islam. That's why I thank Allah for teaching me about being modest and not being too proud and too boastful, because that's who I used to be. Oh, I'm Alexi, oh, Lex Diamond, oh, I'm this, I'm that, gorgeous honey, oh, I'm the best at this and that. I mean, I was boastful, I was proud, and I was arrogant. Very. But then I learned how to humble myself as a student, not only as a woman, but as a student in a classroom of God. I learned how to humble myself. So for this brother to say, ma'am, I thank you for looking out for me. And I let him know. I say, my dear brother, I'm going to tell you the truth. God is the answer. But it depends on your approach to looking for him. It depends on the way, what do you want to find? What are the answers that you want to find? You have to find yourself. You have to find what it is that's going to help you. You have to find out. And I say, you know what, my dear brother, because I know you look like you're moving, you look like you're very unstable at this moment. I said, I pray that, I said, he said, well, it's just in my life. I think the only thing that's been keeping me is my mom and her love for me, and a lot of stuff that I've done is kind of canceled out. And I said, brother, let me tell you something. At the end of the day, if you don't have nobody, if you don't have mom, if you don't have dad, if you don't have brother, sister, auntie, cousin, no family, no friends, no anything, at the end of the day, my dear brother, God is the answer, because at the end of the day, he is sufficient. You have to make him the head of your life. You can't look at what mommy and daddy did or what mommy and daddy didn't do. You can't look at who failed you or how you failed someone else. You can't live your life with regret. The only thing that you can do is stop and take a look at where you are in life, where you want to be in life. And the reason that you're standing here battling your conscience, wondering if God is the answer, and wondering if there's an answer, or wondering if there's a way out, there's a reason that everything that's happened has happened. I said, but the reason that you're sitting here is because that your conscience that you're saying is God the answer, that is God telling you that he is the answer. In order for you to find him, you have to seek him. You have to turn your face to look for him. And the brother said, I thank you so much, because, I just didn't want to say anything to anybody. And I thank you for these words, and I thank you for being a blessing to me. And he said, your spirit is so beautiful. I said, well, how do you know that? He said, just because you are sitting here talking to a homeless person, and you have been a blessing to me, because you don't know how much these $5 mean to me right now. And all I did was sing a piece of a verse. And I said, brother, you don't have to go on that. Don't thank me. Thank the God up above, because it is him who is allowing me to be a blessing to you. And I persisted to give him one of my cards. And I let him know, I said, please come to Muhammad Mosque, number 29 at 5660 Northwest 7th Avenue. And if you come there in the morning, on any Sunday morning, you will be blessed. If you are in the Miami area and you're listening to this broadcast, Brother Nuri Muhammad, any of you who know Brother Nuri Muhammad know Brother Nuri is a fire ball. He will be in Miami live and in effect tomorrow morning. And if I can get a bit or piece of the lecture, I will definitely try to record some of it. But if I'm not able to record any of it, I will take notes and I will recap what Brother Nuri did speak on. Now, back to the definition of modesty. It says the quality of behaving and especially dressing in ways that do not attract sexual attention. Now, us as sisters, we like our short shorts and the tights and the spaghetti strap and the revealing clothing. And the only reason we like it is because that's all we see on a day-to-day basis. That's all that's put before us. That's all our parents may have dressed us in. Our parents may not be dressing modestly. Our mom and our grandparents may dress the same way we do. Tight jeans, high heels and backside pumped out and whatever the case may be. However it is, I don't have to point out how you may dress. As I stated, I've had my share of being out in the world. I wasn't always a modestly dressing sister. I wasn't always someone who wanted to cover up. I just, was going with the trends. I thought I was a trendsetter by the way that I dressed, because I did have my own style, and I did have things that I would wear that some of my friends would be like, I would never put that on. But in the end of the day, it wasn't something that was covering my adornments. I wasn't wearing clothing that was making sure that my breasts were not out and plumped out for the world to see. I wasn't wearing clothes that was covering my backside for a man to not think when he sees me, look at me in a sexual manner. And now that I've come into Islam and I have gotten an idea of what modesty is and what being a virtuous woman is, it has been a blessing to me, because it has taught me that a man is not going to act on a higher level if you're dressing to entice him on his lower level. So if you're dressing, with your legs and butt and your breasts, and if he can see everything and you leave nothing to the imagination, that's all he's going to think about. It's having sex with you or whatever, undressing you with his eyes. If you don't really have on many clothes, it ain't really anything to try to undress. But if you're not covering your adornments, then how can you cover a man from seeing you? You think just because you have on a little shorts or whatever, the man can see your backside. Still, he can see the shape of your form. He's still going to be enticed, and he's still not going to be able to think on a higher than a sexual level, because he's looking at things that will bring sex first to his mind when you're dressing. That's going to entice him. That's going to bring the dog out of him. And that's what makes him treat you like a bitch. Because that's what he is. He's a dog. If you're bringing the dog out of him and then you're attracted to this dog, what is a female dog? Oh, okay. I wasn't cussing. I was just being real and giving you a thorough explanation of why we need to do better. We can't tell our children, as I just stated in the previous broadcast, you have to practice what you preach. We can't tell our children, it's beautiful to have a head covering, but you never have your hair wrapped. You never cover your hair. You never cover your adornments. You never dress modestly, so naturally your children wouldn't want to do that. But if we rear our children from babies to dress like young women and young men, but not young women how these young women are dressing, because I've seen 2 and 3 and 4-year-olds with booty shorts and tank tops, and then do you know how many freakish and sick doggish men are looking at our children? Do you know that a lot of women have been raped and molested because of the way their mothers dressed them when they were children, never covered them up, never tried to keep a man from seeing them? So therefore they ended up going through bullcrap that could have been avoided if their mother was not cowardly and they covered their children and they did what they were supposed to. This is a cycle that must be broken. This isn't something that we can just say,